There. Well, let's speak now about the situation in care homes with Jenny Morrison and her partner Diane Mayhew. Now, Jenny's 87-year-old mum is in a care home in Liverpool and has been for the last year. Both women have been campaigning for families like theirs to be able to see their loved ones during the pandemic. Thank you so much for being with us. Jenny, just talk to us first of all about your mum and how hard it has been to see her.
To be honest, Ben, the last, we're coming up to 12 months now since I could visit Mum as I did before. Mum's care home locked down in March of last year, like many others. And understandably, in the first wave, we didn't really have any way to protect care home residents in terms of testing. There wasn't enough PPE. We didn't have vaccines and things like that. So, of course, we understood that care homes had to lock down. But, we're coming up to almost 12 months now where we haven't really been receiving any meaningful contact with Mum. I mean, my family, between myself, Diane and my other sisters, we used to visit Mum almost every day in the care home, and we would spend literally all afternoon into the early evening there. And the effect on Mum has been absolutely crushing. The deterioration in her mental health, physical health. She's forgotten how to eat. She can't stand up. She's forgotten how to drink. It's quite unbearable to watch. And whilst we understand there is a need to protect people, we feel like people are now being protected from the risks of the virus, which is absolutely vital, but to the exclusion of all other risks, that are a threat to people living in care homes. And honestly, for people locked out, to see how people are deteriorating, with emotional starvation. Actually, many charities and many journalists have reported thousands of excess deaths that can only be put down to the fact that people are dying of loneliness and isolation. And to witness that as a relative, as a daughter, it's just incredibly difficult. It's crushing. And I'll be honest, it's something that I will never get over. I won't ever get over this period. And for those people, those unfortunate people who've lost a loved one in a care home, either from COVID or because they've died as a direct result of loneliness and isolation, the trauma that these relatives are left with is unimaginable.
I mean, it's harrowing to hear you talk about what that's done to your mum, and so sad. And Diane, just talk us through this campaign group you've set up then, Rights for Residents. What are you saying? What are you calling for? What do you want to happen that's different from what's happening now?
Well, Ben, what we would like to happen is for Parliament to pass emergency legislation that enshrines our rights as essential family carers in law, just as they have done in Canada, because we are an essential component of care. We are the eyes, ears and voice of our loved ones. And we feel that it's coming up to almost a year now. We have PPE, we have PCR tests, we have lateral flow tests. We can have a risk assessment. There's no reason why, if we follow all the safety precautions, we should be allowed in to spend time with our loved ones. We're hearing that care providers are short-staffed, up to 40 and 50% absent levels, and we could help with that. We can help feed, help them to drink. When your loved one is in emotional distress, no matter how wonderful a carer is, and they are, there's nothing that is the same as somebody that person knows, trusts and loves. And so, Canada have managed this model and it's working. So that's what we want Parliament to pass for, family carers over here as well.
And Jenny, can I just ask you, I mean, the vaccination programme, we know it's going pretty well. Is that going to make a difference, do you think?
Well, to be honest, Ben, myself and Dan were talking about this over the Christmas period, and we have very different views on it. And I was very hopeful before the vaccine started rolling out to care homes. And I felt that given all the protections that we already have that Diane's outlined, the vaccination on top of all the existing, infection control procedures would be a game changer, because that would be like the what possible reason could people have to stop people going in if they now had all these additional measures, testing, PPE, they take a temperature check, and now they have the vaccine. But we are now hearing, as Dan said, from people who are reporting back to us from government ministers, and also, care home managers are also saying that the vaccine won't make any difference, because they seem to now have adopted, unfortunately, Ben, a zero tolerance of risk. And what I would say is, people who are vulnerable in the community, are also very susceptible to the virus. But the government has recognised that people's mental health and well-being is just as important as protecting them from the virus, and therefore people in the community are allowed to form a support bubble, because it's essential. Family contact is essential to your mental health and well-being. And certainly in the case of relatives in care homes who might have dementia, or young children who have learning disabilities, they might be deaf, they might not be able to, communicate, they're non-verbal. Actual non-verbal communication from a family member, a hug, somebody holding the hand or playing music to them, it is an essential. It's not just a visitor. People think it's just a visit. It's so much more than that. This is an essential component of people's care, and it's been removed. And we're hearing all the time from representatives of care home managers that the sector is, currently there are staffing shortages of up to 50%. And we are also hearing from carers themselves that they are literally only able to provide basic care at the moment. So they're not even able to fill in the gaps which family carers used to fill. And that's not a fault of theirs, it's just the situation as it stands at the moment. So the only way to provide that vital care, that emotional stimulation that everybody needs, is really to guarantee relatives' visits back to care homes.
All right. Well, listen, Jenny Morrison and Diane Mayhew, thank you so much. You've put your case very eloquently, very passionately. Thank you so much for being with us on BBC News.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.